Well, what about Shepard? He grew up in the colonies.
He knows how tough life can be out there. His parents were killed when slavers attacked Mindwar.
He saw his whole unit die on a cruise. He could have some serious emotional scars.
Every soldier has scars. Shepard's a survivor.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
I'll make the call.
Prime relays in range. Initiating transmission sequence.
Commander.
We are connected. Calculating transit mass and destination.
Mass Effect. Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Retro Reclaimer, and I bring to you this video where I'm going to explain why Mass Effect is an incredibly amazing game. Before you don your N7 armour and drop in hot on Eden Prime, let's first look into the history of where Mass Effect came from.
This pathetic planet from the face of the galaxy. I will break you.
I'll never fall to the dark side.
This is but a taste of the dark side.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, or KOTOR, for those familiar with its abbreviation, is a role-playing video game set in the Star Wars universe almost 4,000 years before the rise of the Galactic Empire. This highly appraised game was released in the UK on the 12th of September 2003 and was initially available only on the Microsoft Xbox console until its release on the PC later that year. Sorry PlayStation and Nintendo fans, you were simply unworthy and clearly underestimated the power of the dark side.
You underestimate my power!
A Star Wars game released back in 2003. Why is this important? It is important because of this man, Casey Hudson. KOTOR was developed by BioWare Studios, a studio known for games such as Baldur's Gate and MDK2. At the time of KOTOR's development, the main man running the gaff was Casey Hudson, the director of BioWare Studios. Published by LucasArts, initially the proposal was for a game to be developed that linked with the upcoming movie Star Wars Episode II Attack of the Clones, or a game set thousands of years before the prequels, and thankfully BioWare chose the latter option. This choice ultimately came down to the fact that BioWare said they'd have more creative freedom with the project. The game was developed and released with great success. It is often considered the best Star Wars game ever made, and even the best video game ever made. And of course, if a product is met with positive attention from critics and high sales records, you can be sure that there is going to be more to come. To no surprise, a sequel was immediately in the works, but something strange happened. BioWare suggested that Obsidian Entertainment develop the game. Clearly, Casey Hudson and BioWare had other plans. Development began on a trilogy of games set in a whole new universe. Taking the experience gained from the creation of KOTOR, Casey and BioWare were able to create a similar game, but free from the clutches of the Empire and the strict code of the Jedi Order. Over the course of the next 3 years or so, a new universe was created, based on that of the real world we live in, but set in the future. in the year 2183, where Boris Johnson finally allows a reopening of pubs. No, I'm only joking. The pubs are still closed. The year is 2183 and technology has advanced beyond 4K capabilities with 60 FPS. Humanity finally decided to take the plunge and land on Mars. There they discover an ancient alien ruin, confirming their lack of solitary in the galaxy, leading to their eventual ability to traverse the stars and discover many other living races. This is the chosen setting for what will be Casey Hudson's masterpiece.
Hitting the relay in 3, 2, 1.
Now BioWare have the freedom to be as inventive and creative as they wish. The quest was on to design planets, species, characters, the Codex. My god, the Codex. This in-game feature provided you with a description of everything you needed to know about the world of Mass Effect, its species, its planets, its history. Codex entries are unlocked upon discovery of something new, and the more important entries came with descriptive audio, assisting with your understanding of this new universe in a very clever and pain-free way. With the universe and everything in it created, a fitting story needed to be implemented. BioWare chose a very dark themed arc, which put the whole galaxy at risk of total annihilation, and the only hope for all is you, the player. You play as Commander Shepard, a heroic human figure who discovers the coming apocalypse and sets off on a journey to recruit a team, traverse the galaxy, investigate the threat, and save all from the darkest of fates. Now we have completed our history lesson and familiarised ourselves with the setting of the game, let's talk about why this game was such a success, and why, of course, I consider it to be incredibly amazing. So, first of all, since we have already touched on it, I want to talk about the game's setting. There is a specific target group here, and they are fans of RPGs and science fiction, normally identified by cheesy Doritos, wardrobes full of Final Fantasy outfits, and a mean Chewbacca impression. I'm definitely a huge fan of both of these two genres, and whilst I do enjoy cheese Doritos, I prefer chili eat with, and my Chewbacca impression is not impressionable at all. So I guess stereotyping is best left unsaid. The setting for this game is a futuristic, spacefaring human race that have evolved from our own real-world history. Humanity and its existence within the galaxy is still in its infancy, and the top brass making all the decisions are looking for a mascot, the perfect soldier. Someone who can prove our species' worth and elevate our position within the Galactic Council. Special Tactics and Reconnaissance Operatives, or SPECTREs, are the ultimate badasses in the galaxy. They work directly for the Galactic Citadel Council and have access to weapons and technology that most do not. They have the authority to do whatever they want without repercussions, regardless of whether they conduct themselves like a true paragon or a raging renegade. No human has ever made it into the SPECTRE program, and it is therefore the Human System Alliance, which is the galactic governing body for humanity, top priority concern. As the player, you find yourself filling the boots of this perfect soldier and set off to become a SPECTRE. The Citadel Council have sent a current serving SPECTRE, Nihilus, who is of the Turian race, to watch over and assess you, but unknowingly a dark and destructive phenomenon is starting to unfold. Whilst investigating a series of attacks in a very large and unfamiliar spaceship, you soon learn that the galaxy is at the beginning of a galactic reset, where a synthetic race harvests all organic matter every 50,000 years. Rough times to live in, eh? The Promethean ruins that were discovered on Mars and throughout other planets in the galaxy turn out to be remnants of an extinct race which ultimately met their fate at the end of the last 50,000 year cycle. These remnants are the only clues into understanding this vicious cycle and organising some sort of response to break it. The journey puts you at a crossroads, and Commander Shepard now has the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. If he is going to investigate and attempt to save the galaxy from total destruction, he is going to need to put all of his skills and experience to use. He's also going to need a ship, a crew, a highly skilled and dedicated team, and he is going to need the authority to do what he wants and how he wants to do it, if he is going to stand even the slightest of chance. Naturally, this setting calls out to the RPG, sci-fi loving community. It's either for you or it isn't. But as far as settings go, this places you in a universe based on that of our own, and something you can be familiar with, allowing the player to connect with it and believe in it. Humanity reaching and walking the surface of Mars is a believable probability that could happen in the not too distant future, and who knows what may be discovered. In Mass Effect, Promethean ruins are discovered, and then subsequently a mass relay. A mass relay connects one part of the galaxy to another and enables ships to travel at faster than the speed of light, or FTL, through its use. They just need activating. With this idea, the possibility of a galactic society cut off from a singular solar system like our own doesn't sound impossible. This again adds to the ability for the player to form a connection with the game and see it as a possible future for ourselves. Combine this with a need to impress the other races and prove humanity's worth, sets the start of an objective and something to achieve. Add an apocalyptic event on a galactic scale that you then become the only hopes of stopping, and you are suddenly encapsulated in something very exciting and important. The opening mission or prologue of the game introduces the setting in a very suspensive and dramatised way that immediately pulls you into a place that is exciting, interesting and challenging, making for a setting that can be considered incredibly amazing. As far as our story goes, we already know our beginning and end, but the middle, the journey and adventure that takes place is where it counts. And I really don't want to spoil this for anyone yet to play it, but take it from me, it is really good, filled with discoveries and suspense. Some of the more major plot lines are highly unexpected and grip hold of your emotions tightly. You feel the weight of the choices that are made by the characters and feel frustration with the council who are reluctant to believe or aid you. The cutscenes, cinematics, soundtracks and interactions with characters are all brilliant. A lot is at stake and you know something bad is coming, but not fully sure of what it is. The further you explore, the more you discover, and you soon realise how big the threat is and why you are the only hope.
Tell Alenko and Jenkins to suit up, Commander. You're going in.
In Mass Effect, character development begins at the very beginning, as you decide on your protagonist's appearance and gender. You also get to decide their history, whether they're a war hero, or whether they're a sole survivor, or whether they have a history of recklessness and immorality. Yes, you get to pick your gender. I've probably already referred to the protagonist as he, but that is because I've always played as a male, as it helps me to connect to the character and imagine it is me. But you can also select to be a woman, more commonly known as FemShep. This consideration opens up the options of the game and allows for a more personalised experience, and even this first decision that you make in game can have dramatically different conclusions within the game's story arcs.
Both her parents were in the Navy.
She saw her whole unit die on a cruise. She could have some serious emotional scars.
Once your character is created, and he or she has an appearance and history, you then get to decide on their abilities, whether they are biotic and are able to use telekinesis powers, whether they are engineers and able to use repair and security skills, whether they are hardened soldiers capable of wearing heavy armour and wielding any type of weapon or a mixture of the three. By the time you start your journey, you have already had such a huge impact on your character's development, but as you play further, you unlock new skills and abilities, command greater resources, and start relationships with your crew. As you grow and develop your character, you notice your crew responding to certain events and choices you make. They develop themselves around those decisions, which leads to them having an opinion of you. The romance scenes are quite famous in Mass Effect, and most of you watching this video have probably searched them on the internet already. It's just a game! A number of romance options are built within the game's mechanics, and depending on your actions and interactions with your crew, you may just activate one of these. This does however take time, and shows the development of all characters as you progress through the game.
Because it's been so pleasant between us lately. Look, somebody in this room needs to make a choice. It ain't me, and it ain't you.
I should have seen this coming.
By taking the time to interact with your crew between missions or whilst traversing the stars, you can learn more about them and their history, and the more time you commit to this, the more attached or detached to certain characters you will become. One area that puts me off from certain stories, whether in game, film or in books, are characters that don't develop or change as a result of their experiences. They don't learn from their actions and grow from them. But in Mass Effect, each character has been created with great detail, and the more you learn about them through the interactions, the more you see how they have developed into who they are from the stories that they tell you. Like you, your teammates level up and learn greater skills and abilities, gaining access to different weaponry and actions on the battlefield. This rewards the player and gives a feeling of achievement and pride. The characters develop both their skill set and personality through every step of the game, and as you become more invested, you become more attached to them. The amount of detail given to each character and how they interact with you, depending on your actions in game, make the experience incredibly amazing. The control of your character at the very beginning of the story and the choice of dialogue and actions throughout the game engage the player on a very high level. You are immediately invested and immersed into the game and make choices both big and small on a wide range of aspects. Mass Effect utilises an impressive morality system. Decisions you make and interactions and through storylines will affect your morality rating. Will you be a true hero and a paragon, or will you be a relentless and disrespectful renegade who only cares about the task at hand? Nothing is to stop you being a mix of the two, and sitting on the fence with most decisions neither. The point is, you can choose what type of character you want to be, or make decisions based on your own thoughts and opinions, and see where on the scale you would fit. Depending on your morality stance, certain characters in game, including your own crew, can even find themselves losing their lives, counting them out for the rest of the game and any sequels. The amount of control in this game is far beyond that of most others, and there are so many decisions to make for various situations. You control the game and how each part of the story plays out. When the blurb on the back of the case reads, "The fate of all life depends on your actions," it means it. Will you sacrifice a big portion of humanity in order to save other species? Or will you sacrifice other species in order to save humanity? You have ultimate decision on what I consider to be the most immersive story in a video game to date. This level of immersion and control make for a game that is truly incredibly amazing.
It's the Alliance. Thank the goddess.
Replay value. Some of us complete a game, turn it off, trade it in, and never mention it again, whereas others play it over and over and over and over. Some games have a higher replay value than others, and this can come down to a whole range of factors. In Mass Effect, the choices that you make are so vast and different. Once completed the game, you are left wondering, what if I didn't save him? What if I didn't kill her? What if I was a biotic instead of an engineer? What if I romanced a different character? What if I was the opposite gender? I wonder what romance options that would give me. The game can be played in many different ways. Going for 1,000 gamer score in your achievements? You better get ready to play this game at least 4 times through. There is a lot to experience, and this game could have you occupied for hours. Even though it was initially released over 15 years ago, I still find myself playing it in a different and new way. You definitely get your money's worth, and to me this is just another reason why this game is incredibly amazing. Finally, continuation. This game was developed from the start to be the first in a trilogy. Many decisions and actions you make in this game were intended to affect the story as it progressed to Mass Effect 2 and even Mass Effect 3. No other gaming franchise has committed to the continuation of your own personal save file in a series of games on the scale at which BioWare have with Mass Effect. Not only is this idea amazing and a testament to the investment and hard work put in by the creators, it actually works, and works really well. In Mass Effect 2 and 3, you will find that you have very different experiences to your brother's playthrough, or your sister's playthrough, or your friends. A lot of hard work must have gone into this to make it work. and it is a nice change for game developers to actually consider the reaction of those that play their games and to really care about their own products, rather than just releasing games for business and business only. I can definitely picture Casey Hudson and the staff at BioWare on the Paragon side of the immorality scale. The level and scale of the continuation from one game to the next is unparalleled and drives this game into the ranking of incredibly amazing.
Shepard.
Okay, in summary then, this game has a fantastic and realistic setting with a story and cast of characters from a wide range of species and personalities. The main protagonist who you play as and control has a very personalised development, and the crew you build around you also develop themselves based on your choices and actions, whilst allowing you to interact with them and dig up their history. This creates an incredibly highly detailed universe with much to discover, should you choose to. Of course, if you don't want to talk to your crew and would rather just get on with the mission, that's totally fine, you don't have to. You get out of it what you put in, which brings me on to the control and immersion. Naturally, as an RPG, this is something we can expect to be present, but Mass Effect takes it to a whole new level and really pushes the boundaries of encapsulating the player into the universe of the game. The fact that so many key moments and decisions are in your hands leaves you wondering what would happen if you chose a different path, and therefore the game can be replayed several times and still have highly differing points in the story. All the time you invest into this game is saved and taken into account for the next 2 games in the trilogy, an aspect I have yet to see at this scale in any other franchise. Disappointingly, the majority of critics and fans prefer Mass Effect 2, and a lot of players late to the franchise tend to start from that game. Granted, the mechanics and graphics are somewhat dated now, and considerably so when compared to Mass Effect 2 and 3, but Mass Effect 1 has the greatest storyline, and those who start from Mass Effect 2 are missing out on some amazing content and character development. Casey Hudson created this game after learning from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and a lot of thoughts and imaginative creation have been put into this game from him and the developers at BioWare. Playing the game, this becomes highly evident. Shortly after its release on the Xbox 360 as an exclusive, EA swooped in and did what EA do best. They took control and acquired the studio and released a version on the PC. Thankfully, Mass Effect 2 and 3 were successful and enjoyable releases also, but we all know what EA are capable of. Post the Mass Effect trilogy was the abomination that is Mass Effect Andromeda. But on a more positive note, Mass Effect the Legendary Edition is due to release this year, which is a compilation of the original trilogy in fully remastered form. And so once again, an ancient threat will return as Commander Shepard, you are the only hope to emerge.
The Arcturus Prime relay is in range. Initiating transmission sequence.
Commander.
We are connected.
Which brings me to the end of this video. As you can see, this is a game I am highly passionate about. Let me know in the comments below, am I alone? Or are there other N7 soldiers out there in the galaxy that share my views? Did or does this video make you want to play or replay the original Mass Effect? I would love to know. I am Retro Reclaimer, and it's been a pleasure.
Board is green. Approach run has begun.